Hello, everybody. Welcome to my senior recital. Let me see a couple thumbs up through Zoom if everyone can hear me all right. Oh, I got some. Awesome. All right. Thank you. We're starting a little bit after 1 just because I wanted to give people enough time to come through Zoom to enter. And so I'm talking next to my piano microphone because that's where it's picking it up from. So this is how it's going to be. Me sitting at the piano and interacting with everyone intimately. Wonderful. Thank you to everyone who has joined me in person, mostly family. We are all masked up and within regulations. Thank you to my family who's joined from overseas. It is Je parle de toi, Anne-Marie, merci beaucoup. Je te vois là. And everyone from different time zones across the states. It really means a lot to me to have everybody here today. I've been preparing for this all summer, basically. And even before that, during the school year, with the guidance of my teachers, my professors. And I definitely did not think in March that this would be how I was going to share my music. But it's actually a beautiful platform to be able to do that and a good opportunity. So I will begin the program with Beethoven's 32 Variations in C minor, a piece that is pretty early for Beethoven and very Baroque-esque. And it will be a great segue into our next piece. But I'm going to begin with Beethoven's 32 Variations, and I hope you all enjoy. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to have another sit and chat between songs while I sip on this. Again, that was Beethoven's 32 grade E minor, a piece that I mentioned, great segue into our next piece, which begins the theme, if there were a theme of the program. And that theme is Baroque dance suites. And the reason why I mentioned this piece by Beethoven is particularly Baroque is because it is based on the chaconne pattern, which features a descending bass line. And Beethoven paired this with the melody rising. And so you hear every chord, every measure gets lower. And this is very common in the Baroque period. Now, another common type of song in the Baroque period was the dance suite, or the Baroque dance. And Baroque dances, there's many different types of dances, like now we have break dancing, line dancing, all this. Back in the Baroque era, in the 1700s, and there were many types of dances as well. And these dances were incredibly popular, so much so that they would be paired into dance suites by composers. These were actually, they were songs of the common people that everyone would know the certain types of dance. Depending on which country you were from, you also had different types of dances that were more prevalent. And so this set of dance suites that I'm going to first present to you is Johann Sebastian Bach piece, and it is his French Suite number 2 in C minor, same key as we were just in. And the piece begins with an allemande, which is very typical of Baroque dance suites. A very flowing, I mean, you can imagine the people dancing to this. And then after that, it goes to a courant, which means running in French. And that piece is much more energetic and a buoyant dance, you would imagine. And it goes on and on. There's 7 different movements in this next piece, and they're all different types of dances. And the dances follow one after another until the end. We have a gigue. And the gigue is a very, also French, a very common one that you'll find in most every dance suite. And that's another buoyant one. So there are a few pillars that many dance suites will share, especially when composers such as Bach took them on and wrote his own versions of these. Now, the ones Bach wrote are highly stylized and a little bit too complicated, you could say, for people to dance to. And so they were concert pieces. Once Bach got a hold of them, the dance suites, the Baroque dances, became concert pieces that were meant to be listened to. But if you feel like you want to get up and dance, I'm not going to stop you. You're on Zoom, turn your camera off, it doesn't matter. But the rest of the program, I've chosen to feature different dances, Baroque dances, or songs that are written in the style of Baroque dances. But we're going to progress through the eras of classical music, okay? We'll start with Baroque, where the dances originated. We'll move on to classical with some Brahms. Debussy has written a version of one of these in the impressionistic style. And then we'll finish the program with a very contemporary iteration of a Baroque dance suite. So I'll talk a bit about the pieces as we go. But I'd first like to present to you Bach's French Suite number 2 in C minor. Thank you again, everybody, for that. And yeah, je peux faire. So that was Bach's French Suite number 2. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Oh, cool. Claps. Thanks everyone. I was wondering what that was. So moving into the next segment of the program, we are going to take a journey into the Baroque dance suite, but transformed throughout the centuries. So it's very often that composers will play off of previously established popular styles and will make their own versions of it. And so that is what happened with the Baroque dance suites. Many composers saw them as a very beautiful medium in which to convey their music, and so they began to take them and do what they would with them, put their own styles into them. So after the Baroque comes in the classical period, which is ushered in largely by Beethoven, and then someone who respected Beethoven a lot kind of bridged the classical and romantic periods, and that's Johannes Brahms. And so he respected Beethoven immensely, actually. One of my professors sent me a picture we have a picture, incredibly, of Brahms's home music studio, his music room at home. And way up above everything else in the corner was on the wall, sitting on the wall, a bust of Beethoven's head. The tallest thing in the room. Brahms looked up to him and respected him that much. He thought he was untouchable. In fact, Brahms didn't write any symphonies until later in life because he was intimidated by Beethoven's his legend, by his aura. And he didn't think anyone could do better what Beethoven had. So I'm here to show you some pieces that I think are incredibly beautiful by Brahms and show his masterfulness as well. And they are 2 Sarabandes. They're relatively unknown pieces, but Brahms wrote a set of 2 gigues, 2 gavottes, and 2 Sarabandes, all of which are different types of Baroque dances. And you definitely hear the late classical, early romantic twist, the stylings that are very central to his writing, that define him and make his music so beautiful. And so after I play the 2 Brahms Sarabandes, I'm also going to present a Debussy Sarabande from the set Pour le Piano, which is a set of pieces he wrote, and there's about 6 of them. And the Sarabande is one of them. I chose it to fit the theme here, and so you can see the way that the Baroque dance suite is transformed throughout the decades. And so Debussy will take it, and it becomes an incredibly airy, mysterious piece, but it still retains the core elements of a Sarabande, which is that it's in 3/4, so 3 beats per measure. And that was the same for the Bach that I played, the same for the Brahms I will play, and the same for the Debussy. They're all in 3/4. And the Sarabande tends to be the slow dance of the Baroque dances, the slowest of them and the most lyrical, although they're all incredibly lyrical. But it has lots of room for embellishment. And so in the Bach, if you remember back to the slowest piece that I played that you were wondering, when is this ever going to end? Oh, he's taking a repeat. It's still going. Okay, well, that's the Sarabande. And so that's what I'm going to expound upon now. We'll have the Brahms 2 Sarabandes in A minor and B minor, and then the Debussy Sarabande from Pour le Piano. All right, I'm going to lean way in this time, and hopefully everyone can hear me. So I'm going to present one more piece to you all. Thank you for joining me and staying this long. It's a true honor to play for everyone under this setting. Thank you to everyone who's helped me set up. We have Ken Shobin here at the church, my friend Tyrell, who has come in very clutch with some advice, some sound advice. I have my piano tuner, personal piano tuner, I might add, sitting right behind the computer that I flew in from Colombia. So everything's sounding immaculate thanks to him. And hopefully the mics as well. So the final piece I'm going to present for you all is a piece by Nikolai Kapustin, a name most of you, I bet, have not heard of. He is a Russian composer, very contemporary, and in fact, he tragically passed away 2 months ago, the month of July, in St. Petersburg. And so a very contemporary composer with a very distinctive style. And you'll know what I mean as soon as I start playing. I'm not kidding you, the moment I start playing. And his music is notorious in contemporary circles for being a mixture of classical and jazz. And so naturally, as we're moving through these different periods of music history, we're going to encounter jazz eventually, right? So we just moved through the late 1800s, early 20th century, now late 20th century. And jazz is getting assimilated into classical music in Kapustin's work. He didn't see his work as improvisational at all, but he actually calculated every single note that he wrote out, although it sounds highly improvisational. It is very meticulously crafted, almost as much as Bach's music. And there's a parallel there because he was trying to imitate Bach. And this suite is called Suite in the Old Style. Old style meaning the Baroque style, Baroque dances. So that's where we started out with Bach. And now we're going to wrap it up with Kapustin. I'm going to present 3 movements of this work. The Allemande, which is the same opening as Bach's, very flowing piece. And then the Sarabande, which is the piece, the Debussy and Brahms that I just presented. And again, in 3/4, and again, flowing. However, this is distinctively a bit slower and melodic. And then the final piece, the Gigue, which is defined by being highly rhythmic and aggressive, maybe not, but it might sound that way because Kapustin does not give you a break. So make sure to take a deep breath before each one of these movements and see who can hold it the longest. I probably won't, but thank you for joining me again for this recital. I really appreciate it. And it's not just me who's put this on. It's the work of all my teachers, Dr. Kimo Smith, Dr. Rodriguez, who have taught me at La Sierra, and every professor that I've had at La Sierra, Dr. Narducci, Dr. Kendall, everyone who's taught me what's brought me here. And I'm lucky enough to have my old piano teacher, Mrs. Cook, here as well. She's sitting in the church listening, and I'm very glad that they came. And, you know, thank you to everyone, my parents who are here as well. And it's with joy that I present to you this final piece, and also in honor of Kapustin, a very, very renowned composer who has recently passed. And I'm honored to have learned his music and share it with you today. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Wow. I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming in on Zoom. I'm going to go through and scroll and wave at faces in a moment and read through the chat and be super happy. Thank you, everybody. This wraps up a beautiful chapter of my life in which I've been blessed enough to study music and play music every day and to progress in that. And it's a really beautiful thing, but it's a thing I'm lucky to be able to do and still be able to do under our current circumstances. And I wish I could offer more than a simple thank you for listening, but I hope that will suffice. And once again, thank everyone for their support and the church for letting me use their space and lovely piano. And I hope that this music could offer you a bit of a breath of fresh air in the times we're in together. Oh, hello, look at that. Thank you. Right. Oh, I hear some cheering. I suppose you can unmute yourself. Unmute yourselves and say hi if you want.
Is this where you
Nathaniel.
Hit the front one.
Let's go, boy.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Great job.
Great job, dude.
Daniel.
Love you.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Félicitations.
That was wonderful, Nathaniel.
Loved
Let's
it.
go, boy.
Oh, look who's on there.
Congrats, guys. Great job.
Good job. Texas loves you, Nathaniel.
Beautiful job.
Love you too.
Good job, dude.
Woo!
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Tu es un artiste.